my stylus right here.
Okay, Matt.
Okay.
Sell us.
This is the new Cricut Imagine from ProvoCraft. I'm going to go ahead and just jump into the print and cut mode. On the machine, there are some basic shapes that just cut out. You know, these are similar to the basic shapes you might find on George and Basic Shapes, which is one of our cartridges. You know, just squares and circles and borders and things. These are built into the machine, so you'll be able to cut those at any time. This is our new Imagine cartridge. This is a Cricut original cartridge. Both work in this machine. I'm going to talk about this one first, and I'll go back and talk about the original cartridges in just a minute. So if I plug in the cartridge, it's going to take just a second here, and then it'll populate the screen, and this is what we call our gallery view, which shows you all the art with the art on the cartridge. So I can scroll through, and this is all the art that is contained on the Imagine cartridge. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind is on the very high level, the machine prints and cuts, but it actually is an image editor as well. Let me show you how that works. If I go in here and select this cake, piece of cake image, and select that pencil, it's going to take me to the image editor. That piece of cake image, which you see right here, is actually made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. And each of those layers you can actually edit. So if I want to come in, for example, and change that blue layer to be like a rust color, I can pick that rust color. You're going to watch here it changed. It also changed over there. So you have the ability to manipulate the art just the same way you would when you cut paper. So, you know, on a current Cricut, if you were going to cut that shape, you'd go out and buy, you know, that color of paper, and then you'd stick it in the machine and cut it out. Now you don't have to worry about it anymore. All you need is this stack of white paper, and then everything will print and cut. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to the original colors, because I think the artist selects colors better than I do. But I'm going to then hit apply, and you're going to watch that shape is going to jump right here into our image queue. Okay. I can also, if I want to, print that shape as multiple pieces, so that I can do a layered effect or a 3D type effect, and I do that simply by switching to our layers mode. And if I hit apply again, you're going to watch right up here in the queue, I now have all the individual pieces. So having done that, now I'm going to hit next, and that will bring us up to our project preview screen. Actually, let me make sure we have a mat ready to go. Okay. So on this is going to show you all of the pieces then that are going to cut out on the mat. So I'm going to cut it in two ways. I'm going to cut it as a single piece, and then I'm going to cut it in all of its individual layers here. So hit next. It's telling me now on the screen to go ahead and insert my mat. And you hit go while applying some light pressure to the mat. The machine will take it away from there. So now what the machine is going to do right now is it's preparing the image. So it's getting all the printer data ready. As soon as it's done preparing that printer data, the mat will go ahead and feed in slightly, and the printer will start looking for these black marks on the mat. And those black marks is how the printer knows the orientation of the mat. So if it's slightly sideways or, you know, skewed or something, the machine is smart enough that it's self-aligning, so that you always get a good print to cut alignment. When it's done printing, the cutter will do the same thing, and I'll show you that when it happens here in just a second. It sounds like we've got our print heads are going through a cleaning cycle, so every so many cuts, which is predetermined by Hewlett-Packard, the print heads go through a cleaning cycle to make sure that you get a good quality print and a cut.
So you teamed up with Hewlett-Packard then to design it, or?
Yep. So, well, the design is all ProvoCraft. Hewlett-Packard, though, we use their technology for the printing. So you take the world's leader in cutting, you know, ProvoCraft with the Cricut, and the world's leading in inkjet printer and inkjet printing, Hewlett-Packard, and you end up with a pretty darn cool machine. Especially when you couple that with, you know, the built-in design capability of the image editor. So this is going through right now, and it's doing a print. This prints at about the same speed. Oh, actually, it does print at the same speed as a HP wide format printer. So it's printing, you know, 12 inches wide here. It's not just printing, 11 inches wide. It's not printing 8.5 by 11. So it takes a little bit longer than a standard printer, but it prints at the same speed.
Will there be 12 by 24 inch mats to come?
It's something that we're working on, but at this point we don't have anything available, and nor can I really make a promise about 12 by 24 right now. But it is something that we want to do because we know it's what a lot of our customers would like. So I don't know if you can kind of see over the back here. You know, let's go ahead and it's printing out the pieces. So that's the one all together. And now that it's stopped, what it's doing is it's drying. So right now I've told the machine that I'm using this white paper, and when it's done doing the print, it pauses for a certain amount of time so that it dries. That way when it goes back through the machine to do the cut, none of the ink smear.
And you said before it's archival.
Yep, yep. And so now it's gonna, if you go back in the front here, it's gonna go back through, and the cutter is now going to look for those black marks. So this is part of the intelligence of the machine. You don't have to worry about doing the alignment yourself. It does its own registration.
So it's a combination of a printer
and a Cricut.
And the Gypsy.
Well, sort of.
Somewhat.
This is, yeah, kind of. I mean, it doesn't have the same design capabilities as a Gypsy.
But it has some of the screen imaging like you would on a Gypsy.
And so here it goes, you know, it's just going ahead and it's going to cut out this image.
And why did they move to have the, your green is plastic? Why did they move away from the metal housing?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Sorry.
I've noticed the new machines now come with the plastic instead of the metal.
So here it goes. It's cutting out all the individual pieces now. When it's done cutting, I'll show you how the original Cricut cartridges work. But one of the things to mention is that even though this cartridge doesn't have any print data, you'll actually be able to print and cut all of your original cartridges. You know, we know that there are many people out there that have spent a significant amount of money getting cartridges, and we wanted to make sure that all of those cartridges work in this machine. So I will show you here in just a second.
I have a few.
Yeah, a few hundred.
I pretty much have them all.
Well, there'll be about 200 by the end of the year.
Now, in your count of 200, you're counting 200 those, or inclusive of the other ones?
Oh no, on these at launch there will be the one in the box, the Imagine.MP4 cartridge. There'll be 12 additional art cartridges, and then there'll be 12 pattern cartridges. And the pattern cartridges don't contain any cut information. They just contain all the different patterns that you may want to use for your printing. So on the image editor where I showed you, you can change colors. We'll have pattern cartridges that just have patterns on them. Do you have a question? Okay, great. All right, it's almost done cutting out all the pieces here.
Now the Gypsy, you'll be able to interface with this?
Yeah, the Gypsy, there'll be an update available on the 13th of September.
Okay.
And it will make the Gypsy compatible with this machine.
Okay, and then what can you do then with that? Will the photo application be able to be placed on there?
No, the Gypsy, right now I can't comment on the specifics of what the Gypsy will do. I can tell you that on the 13th, there'll be an update that will make it available, and it will make it compatible. And then we'll continue to roll out features that bring all the all of the features of both devices together, so that, like you're saying, there's some things that people have been asking for that we would like to be able to provide.
To be able to take the photo app and print on there, but at that time you won't be able to do that.
That's printed and cut as one single piece. But then I can also print and cut, like I said, as layers, so that if you want to do, use like the glue dots or the little styrofoam sticky things, so that you can make, the same thing in a 3D effect. And what's really cool about this is you can go in and edit any of the pieces, any of the colors on these pieces to make it your own art. Just like before, how you used to go and select what color of paper, but now you don't have to worry about it. You keep white paper at home. Whoops. So, there you go. There you have all your pieces, and so you can layer that together however you want to. Okay, so let me talk about the original Cricut cartridges. I'm going to apologize up front here because this is beta software, so when I plug this in, it's going to take about 20 seconds to show up.